So we're live on both. Okay. Forgot my earpieces. Hold on. All right. So today we're going to kind of go over a couple different things. We're going to go over NAC, N-acetylcysteine, and nanokinase. Some of this stuff is going to be, I don't know if any of this is going to get pulled down. I don't know how much we can talk about COVID yet, but we're going to go through some of this stuff anyway. I know that anything I say, well, the assumption is that most of the stuff I say will be okay on X. So if there's ever a day where there's a missing thing or something gets cut out, like I'm sure it'll be on X. So, all right, so let's run through a couple little things real quick. Oh, so last night we did fajitas, steak, chicken. We did a little bit of queso. I realized the queso was probably not the greatest thing chemically, but it was delicious. Sour cream, tortillas, guacamole, that type of thing. We got it from Christina's. I took some pictures. The pictures don't look amazing, but that's me. Check that out. I'm trying to kind of show that the breadth of the diet, it's got lots and lots and lots and lots of things on it. Doing more and more research. I'll post some of that research as we go along. We'll talk about it as we go along. Doing some stuff on nuts and stuff like that right now. Some research on nuts and stuff. But all right, so let's get to NAC and nanokinase. So NAC is really, really cool. When we talk about the fight against reactive oxidative stress, when we talk about the fight against free radicals, when we talk about the fight against the things that are actually damaging the body, for instance, let me get back into this. LDL cholesterol is never going to plaque. I don't care. I don't care how much LDL you have, it's not going to plaque. Medical institutions know it. Everybody knows it. They're just trying to sell statin drugs. Now, LDL is fine and natural in your body, deals with it every day. LDL, VLDL, the super scary one, is what your heart uses as a #1 fuel source. Medical guys know this. Everybody knows this. They're just lying to you about it so they can sell statin drugs. What has to happen is the LDL has to get damaged and the blood vessel has to get damaged. They're both damaged from what's called reactive oxidative stress. You might know the term better as free radicals. So free radicals and reactive oxidative stress are actually just damaging the blood vessels and damaging the LDL cholesterol, oxidizing the LDL cholesterol and making it sticky. And then once you have oxidized LDL and you have damaged epithelial, which is the inside of the blood vessel kind of warps up like wood floors do if you get them wet. And then on the other side, the undersides of those tissues are really sticky. The LDL that's been oxidized goes in there and creates plaquing. That's how it happens. They'd like to make you think it's LDL. It's not. It's oxidized LDL. So anyway, NAC really helps break that down. So NAC is one of those things. It's one of the really powerful antioxidants. It helps to free up and to destroy free radical damage. It helps to destroy certain reactive oxidative stress groups. So it makes your body substantially healthier. One of the things it also does is it helps increase what's called interstitial glutathione. So glutathione is one of the most important, most powerful antioxidants. It works on a wide variety of free radicals and reactive oxidative stress subspecies. So NAC is going to be something you really, really want to get in because of that glutathione. But it's the interstitial means in between the cells. So normally when you guys produce glutathione, it's mostly a liver thing that then goes systemic from there. NAC helps your body to create glutathione and antioxidant function inside and around the cells themselves. So when we're worried about cancer stuff and we're worried about arterial plaquing and things like that, NAC is a really big player. So we're talking about long-term health and we're talking about long-term wellness. NAC is something you got to take on a regular basis. I take 3 of these a day, 3 capsules a day. You can, your dosage is going to be dependent upon your needs. I've got patients who are taking more than me. I've got patients who are taking less than me. But that's kind of where it is. These are 600 milligrams a piece. So again, it depends upon you. If you're looking for something easy, if you weigh 100 pounds, take 1 or 2 a day, morning, night. If you weigh 200 pounds, take 2 a day, morning and night type of thing, or take 1 3 times a day. It also depends on when we do like a balance, like when I work with people, we look at what they're eating and their goals are. If they're like, well, I want to keep eating these foods, or I want to keep smoking cigarettes, or I want to keep drinking alcohol or doing these things. Cool. We have to offset that. That's why some people take more of this than I do. But that's kind of how we play that one in. If you don't know how much to take 1 in the morning, take 1 at night. It's pretty easy. You're not going to OD on this stuff. Don't worry about it. But so this is a great one if you're worried about heart attack, stroke, cancer. If you got the COVID vaccine, 100% you guys need to do this one. But that's where this one does. It helps increase glutathione. So if you do research on glutathione and you're like, wow, I want glutathione, you need to take this one to help your body produce more of its own glutathione in between the cells. Really, really beneficial. This is a great one. And also, as the ticker at the bottom says, all the proceeds from the supplement sales on my website, pillarsofwellness.com or seawellstore.com, go to the charity that we're using to help veterans and first responders knock PTSD and addiction out using ketamine and psychedelics. Again, if you guys have not done any research on ketamine and psychedelics, if you have any anxiety, if you have any stress, if you have any long-term PTSD, if you have any addiction issues, 100% you guys need to check that out. So NAC is fantastic, so check that one out. All right, so we move on to nanokinase. Nanokinase is hypercritical for anyone who's ever had a COVID vaccine or who's had COVID more than once. This helps break up and dissolve blood clots in the arteries, in the veins. This is fantastic for older people to take because even before the COVID bioweapon issues, old people had DVTs. A DVT is a deep vein thrombosis, which is basically a blood clot that appears in the lower extremities, leg, calves, feet, ankles, that type of thing, because the blood supply down there has decreased, the oxygen supply has decreased. Oftentimes we have damage from high glycemic function, whether you're diabetic or not. Oftentimes we have low testosterone problems. Low testosterone is a giant issue for DVTs because the testosterone keeps the blood vessel sturdy. And look at the heart's coming out of that. That's hilarious. The blood vessel is sturdy, and so it doesn't collapse and thus slow down blood and let the blood clot. But if you're on nanokinase, it's going to help dissolve those blood clots. Anybody who's had a heart attack or a stroke, who has had a pulmonary embolism, most of my athletes need to be on this. It helps heal the blood vessel walls as well. And so when we start talking about arterial plaquing, we start talking about things like that. You need to heal those blood vessel walls. Nanokinase is a great one to take. Now, on this one, I usually take about 200 milligrams 3 times a day. But that's just because I've had so much issues with COVID. COVID damaged my heart, as we talked about before. I've not had the vaccine, but I recognize how damaging the bioweapon is. And since I worked with people on it so closely for a long period of time, we were pulling people out of hospitals to save their lives because hospitals they wouldn't use the stuff they knew how to heal people with. It was a pretty easy deal. It took me about 4 months to figure out. It was quinine and hyperbaric oxygen. The hospitals had the quinine, they had the hyperbaric oxygen, but they wouldn't use them because they were trying to get paid to kill people with ventilators. Even though we knew that it wasn't a respiratory problem, that's what they were getting paid for, and so that's what they did. But this is just a whole nother thing of you really need to start taking control of your own health and your own nutrition, because if you're waiting on Western medicine to help you, they're not. In fact, they're going to go the opposite way because they will only do what makes them money. And what makes them money 90% of the time makes your health worse. So, I mean, FYI. So if you care about your long-term wellness, your long-term health, you guys are going to need to kind of take a little bit stronger stance on this and get some more information on your own. Ask us questions at chalmerswellness.com. You can ask the questions in the comments, however you guys want to do it. But, nanokinase is a great thing for everybody to add. I know people have been talking about it. They don't really know what it does. It helps dissolve blood clots. It makes it harder for blood clots to form, and it heals blood vessel, the inside of the blood vessel, which is again where the plaquing and the issues we come up with for heart attacks and strokes come from. So when you take both of them, they do a lot. So you take the NAC and you take the nanokinase. It's going to help produce that glutathione. It's going to help heal the blood vessels. It's going to help dissolve blood clots. It's going to help increase blood function and cardiovascular function. It's going to help decrease toxicity throughout the body. That's going to decrease inflammation. If we decrease inflammation, we're going to decrease pH. If we increase the oxygen and decrease pH, that radically decreases your chances of cancer. So if you had the vaccine, both these. What we're starting to see from people who've had the vaccine is massive, massive increases in cancer, massive increases in neurodegenerative diseases, and things like that. And so you don't have to take my word for it. In fact, you should never take my word for things. You should go research these on your own. But that's the stuff we're starting to see, not just the myocarditis, not just the sudden adult death syndrome from sleep apnea, from damage to the pons in the brain from the vaccine, but the systemic inflammation that is the goal of all vaccines, which is why they cause autism and why they cause all the autoimmune diseases and things like that. The goal is to create that systemic inflammation response. you need to start calming that down with the glutathione and the NAC and start healing the blood vessels with the nanokinase. So again, dosages are going to depend on the person and what your needs are, but that's kind of where they are. Like I said, I take 1 3 times a day of the NAC, and I take 2 3 times a day of the nanokinase. Your dosage are obviously going to vary. So if you guys have questions at chalmerswellness.com, and you can get all the stuff at pillarsofwellness.com, and the proceeds from that go to charity. So thanks for your time. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, or actually today at 2:30.